Hello guys, it's time for the last battle of Alexander the Great in, at least featured in Command & Conquer's Ancients official scenarios. So we are at Hydaspes 326 BC, of course, and well, the place where we are now is in today's Pakistan. They're not really sure exactly where this battle took place, even though Alexander did found a city close by back in those days, but they have really not found the remains of that city either, I guess. So they don't really know exactly where this battle was fought, but they know about this river. It has another name today, Hydaspes, but where along that river and where that river did run exactly at this year, I think that could be a bit hard to tell or hard to say where it ran. But anyway, we are seeing Alexander. I think it's 2 years after the last battle we did do, and at this point he has pretty much got all of the Persian kingdom under his rule, and now he's looking towards east, seeking to expand his empire to some more or less unknown lands in the Far East. And to do that, well, there's a problem with just marching east, because there's a pretty powerful kingdom in between him and the lands in the east, and that's the kingdom of Hydaspes, where we have King Porus as the ruler, who's featured in this battle. So, and that's a pretty brave man, according to what has been told about this battle, actually. So Alexander needs to confront him and show that he's a brave warrior. He needs to prove that to Porus. So he needs to beat him more or less in battle. And Porus is not in any way willing to let Alexander just pass. So he has actually gathered a big force and checking this side of the river, so that Alexander and his army cannot pass it that easily, at least. So Alexander has joined up. Of course, he had his Macedonians with him, but he has also joined up with Indian troops who he has allied with. I think it's the kingdom of Taxila or something like that. It was called. So we have a lot of Indians in his troops. So, as you can see, we are already seeing the Macedonians on this side of the river, but previous to this battle there has been some maneuvering here. Alexander has been trying to find a way where he could go over the river on this side where Porus is waiting, and Porus is shadowing him all the time. So Alexander has done many probes, many feint maneuvers and so forth. So at that one point he found a good place where to cross the river, and he was a bit afraid of that Porus would learn of that plan. So he did lots of feint attacks. He spread his troops to different locations and did a very cautious recon of that place. So when this happened, he left part of his force outside this battlefield, commanded by Craterus, pretty much to lure the Indian troops here that the main force were located there and were camped there. So, but by night he took a big bunch of his force and at the place where he had reckoned the good crossing place of that river. Actually, this is a pretty deep river and quite fierce one, so it's not that easy to cross it either. But they did that. He found a place where there was an island, so he could a bit of, with cover of that island, also do the crossing. And he actually managed to lure Porus that there was nothing fishy going on here. So he was able to go over. He was also a bit lucky here. The weather gods were at Alexander's side this night, because there was a storm and big rain drawing up. So I mean, that drowned the sound of the armies moving and also the sight on the other bank of the river. So Alexander and the Macedonian army managed to cross. At some point, of course, Porus got aware of that, and he sent his son over there, also named Porus. So it's Porus, the younger one, who took a cavalry force, went up there, but they were forced back, and the younger Porus was actually killed in that initial skirmish taking place there between the cavalry. So when Porus learned of that, he knew, all right, there's a substantial force going over that river over there, and probably Alexander is with them. So he had to take a big bunch of his army, march towards Alexander. I think he was hoping to reach them before Alexander had crossed completely over the river. But I think he was a bit disappointed by the fact that he was seeing the Macedonians already arraying for battle on the wrong side of the river from his view, right? Also, the other problem was that there was a substantial amount of Macedonians also where Craterus were camping, so he had to leave a big part of his army down there to check them and to harass them if they tried to go over the river, which he actually did at a later stage. But this particular scenario is kind of in the middle when the big thing is about to start. So we have seen the Macedonians over the river completely. They have arrayed here. We have seen the Indian army arrayed on here, so they are ready to clash. And pretty much in the battle, the Macedonian cavalry did some really good job here with routing the enemy cavalry and more or less winning the battle by that. But we also it's also said that the Macedonian phalanxes took big losses in this battle, pretty much due to the war elephants that Porus deployed here. They really did some big harm on the phalanxes, but and this was a tough fight. It's waged back and forth, and Porus did some counterattacks here, and I mean, he has some really heavy stuff here. So I mean, there were some really give and take here, and big losses. I think this it was recorded that Alexander's Macedonian army took. This is the most costly battle for him in his Persian campaign. They lost pretty much of the phalanx infantry here, and also Porus was prepared with this kind of a heavier bow units here. They have armor piercing heavy bows, but again it is said that the ground was kind of slippery after the heavy rain, so it was muddy and a bit difficult to maneuver. So actually, I don't really know why, but it said that these heavy bows couldn't really fire accurately because of that. So yeah, this was a fine victory for Alexander and his Macedonians and his Indian allies here. And in the end, Porus was forced to surrender, and he actually, but Alexander was very impressed of him. He was a brave warrior, and he did some kind of wise decisions in his battle. So Alexander was really impressed of him as a commander, and so he actually let him to be one of his satraps. So he kept his kingdom of Hydaspes here, and became Alexander's satrap here in the Far East. And after this battle was done, Alexander could start moving east, but there was some, I mean, his army became really tired after these long campaigning and these constant battles, and they were again about to meet the big Indian army over there in the east, and they couldn't really anymore cope with it. So there were a lot of miscontent in the army. So later on, Alexander changed his plans. He listened to his troops, or he had to, or it would be a big mutiny. So he cancelled the plans of moving towards east, and he moved southwards. I think it was not Hydaspes, but the Indus River, which is I think this ends up in the Indus River, I guess. And well, then we know he went back westwards, and he later died. That was in 323, right, when Alexander died. So anyway, let's get back to this scenario. So here we go. We have the War Council here. We see that the Alexander and the Macedonians will get 6 command cards, and the Indian army and the Porus will get 5 command cards. The Macedonians will move first, and the fight will go on till one side gains 7 banners. And for the special rules, the river Hydaspes is impassable. We have the Alexander rule: when he gains, or the unit he's attached to gains 1 additional die in close combat. And we actually have 2 units of companion cavalry in this scenario. And they go with the same rule as we have seen before. They ignore 1 sword symbol in close combat, of course, and 1 flag. And that should be both in close combat and missile or ranged fire. So that's it. And let's take a look at the battle board. So if we start checking the Indian forces, we see that the first line is a good mix of heavier troops and bow units, actually. So we have some heavy chariots there, and then the bow unit, elephants, bows, elephants, bows, elephants, bows again, and another chariot on the end. So good mix of a good ranged missile units and heavier troops. But as we know, especially from Gaugamela, the chariots and the elephants are really, really fragile. So it's a kind of an unreliable first line here, to be honest, and it's a bit difficult to see how they should be managed. In the second line, if we look at them, there we have some cavalry and some lighter troops. So we have medium-heavy cavalry on the left flank. Then we have Porus himself with some auxiliaries. Another nameless leader here with auxiliaries, more auxiliaries, and another nameless leader with even more auxiliary troops. And then a light cavalry unit over here on the far right-hand side. So, well, it's a supported line here, but as you know, elephants cannot gain support, they can only give support. So, I don't know, this is really hard to see how we can meet the Macedonian lines here. I mean, of course we can pour some fire at them when they are approaching, and we could do some crazy charges with our elephants, but as we know, that could we could lose the battle by that as well, because they are so fragile, and the same goes for the chariots, of course. So I'm not really sure how to do this, or should we move up our second line instead and pull back our elephants as some reserve, perhaps. I mean, they're really good at meeting the enemy cavalry. But, well, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. Let's look at the Macedonians. So on the right-hand side, we have Alexander himself back there with some companion cavalry. Then we have actually 2 light bow cavalry units here. I wonder what those guys are. Maybe they are Indians, or maybe they are actually some guys recruited up north in Bactria, or some Scythians. I don't know. Then we have another bow unit. Maybe Cretan still with Alexander. Then we have a light unit here, and then we have another unit of companion cavalry, that led by Koenos. Then we have some medium heavy infantry here, 3 units of heavy infantry, led by Antigenes, and then we have the light left hand flank with 2 light infantry units up here, and backed by an auxiliary unit. So for Alexander and the Macedonians, I think, well, of course we will benefit of clashing with our heavies here, but we have these elephants. I mean, they can get a good bunch of dice if they charge our phalanx, that's for sure, so we need to be cautious here. So the best thing would be to disrupt these elephants first before we go in, but it's a long way to go, so we could start moving them forward, that's for sure. On this flank we have 3 bow units and a light infantry, so I think an initial plan would be to move up those guys, start pouring in some bow fire here on the elephants and chariots, and try to neutralize them first, maybe getting them back to 1 block or something, because I think then they could be a bit scared of doing the charges with them. So I think the initial plan would be to move up those guys, start pouring some fire, maybe move towards the center, and I mean, these guys can move really fast, the bow cavalry, so they could reach the other end of the battlefield pretty fast and be in range of the elephants here as well. And we also have some skirmishes here. We could move up those and start moving towards the enemy heavier here and pour in missiles. That's how I see we can cope with those heavier, because if they can hit us first, we could lose the battle by that, because the elephants can bring some real destruction over there against heavy troops. Yeah, so that's the main plans, and as I said, I'm not really sure how to play with the Indians. Should we pull back our elephants or not? We might do that. It depends on what we get, with what cards we get, I guess. So yeah, let's see. But so I think we are ready to start the game by that. So it's the Macedonians who go first. Okay, light troops. That really goes into the plan we have, right? Then we have right leadership. We have any section leadership card. That's good. We could get Alexander moving with those lights and pour in some fire. And 3 units left, 4 units left. Well, that's more on the other side of the battlefield then. And then we have 4 in the center. But I'm thinking of actually starting to move Alexander with the lights forward to get in fire range of those Indians, because then we can in the next turn again do that with the lights and even start moving forward on other lights, who then can activate with some left section cards. So let's do that. So we start with inspired right leadership. So that's over there. And that would be Alexander's companions together with 4 units. and that's perfect. So now I'm gonna go in directly to do some damage here. So here we go. Let's go one forward with the bow unit. Same with these guys. Let's mark them as moved. And Alexander, well, let's move him here. Now he's can be activated also with a center card. That's cool. So here we go. So we start with the light bows here, and I'm gonna fire against that chariot. It's one die. And that's a flag, but these guys are actually in support, so that's not a hit. I wonder if we had got that result on an elephant. I think that the elephant needs to take the flag, right? I'm gonna check that. Let's see. Blah blah blah, no evade events, may ignore one hit on one flag when attacked. Okay, so here it says elephants can support but not receive support. So I think elephants, I mean, if I get one flag on the elephants, they need to retreat. And do they always rampage when they retreat? Before an elephant retreats, all adjacent units roll 2 dice for it. Yeah, so this could be really dangerous for them if we roll a flag. So here we're gonna try to hit that elephant. Ah, that was a miss. So we're gonna do it with the next bow unit. Miss again. The light infantry here, I'm gonna try here. That's a miss again. Too bad. We rolled one flag, but that was a wrong unit because these guys are supported. Well, but now we got our skirmishers in range. So if Porus doesn't respond, then we might get in some really good fire with a light activation card we have next time. There's the Macedonian 6th card, and let's see what we can do with these guys. Okay, we got the Mounted Judge. Always tempting to do this. I mean, we have good bunch of guys in range, but they can always evade, you know. But we get that extra die. But maybe not now. So we got 2 in the center, we got a line command. It's a bit difficult with the line command in this situation because we are disrupted by these elephants in the line. We have a move fire move. We could put in some good bow fire now in retaliation. We also got 2 on the left, 2 in the center, and we have the mounted charge. So we could I think I actually do this. I play 2 on the left because I want to get the elephant into safety. I don't feel comfortable here in range of all those ranged attacks. These guys will start rampaging here, so I'll move them back, and I'll actually move King Porus forward to close the gap there. Yeah, so the elephants move back, King Porus will move forward. Actually, a side note here, when I read about this battle, I learned that actually King Porus was mounted on the largest elephant of his elephant corps. So he should actually be with an elephant, but I guess that doesn't make sense in this game. So he's I guess he's sitting on an elephant, but he's leading this auxiliary unit here in this game at least. Okay, but the auxiliary can throw some javelins. It's 1 die against that light infantry. Let's see what we get. That's a miss. But I'm kind of happy having these elephants in safety now. So let's see what the Macedonians have. Okay, they had the Spartacus card also now. But I think I go with my previous plan here. So light troops, and now I can order up to 6 of them. So I will just pour in some fire against the main line here. And I still can order 2 units. So I think I'm gonna move forward some more lights in preparation to do some more ranged attacks here later. So these guys move here. Should we? We are in range of those guys. No, let's do it like this. We just move them slightly forward. Like that. We are out of range of the enemy bowfire, and we can, if we activate these guys again, they can move forward too and then throw their javelins. So I think that's better. But we have a lot of fire to do still. So let's see if we can wear down these chariots here. That would be good. So we cripple that offensive weapons from the Indians. So the bow cavalry fires here first. It's 2 dice. We need reds. No reds. Second one, same target. Another miss. Next, the bow unit, same target again. Should get at least 1 hit, right? Yeah, there it comes. So one of the chariots are gone. And then we have these lights, and they will now target that elephant again. And this could be critical if we now roll a flag. No, but we did hit them. So they are also going down now. At least some elephants. This is dangerous, so they need to do something here now. And that's it. King Porus, what are you going to do? Well, I would like to get that elephant into safety. And I could play a line command. No, I couldn't. I cannot activate the elephant with that. So I think I need to play the 3 in the center to achieve that. So it's these 3 units. And I will simply move these guys here. That way I can get the elephant back and then move forward the other guy with the leader. And I can do some ranged fire with 1 die. And that's a miss. Okay, it's not that much happening here, but we are organizing our lines here because we see what tactic the Macedonians are using. They come in with heavy skirmishing here, so we want to get our elephants out of the way. Too bad we cannot rescue these guys, but that's how it goes. So that was actually the 3 in the center. I forgot to activate that card. Like that. And now, let's see, the Macedonians again. Oh, they got another light. That's perfect. We're just gonna go with the skirmishing for now. That's pretty awesome actually. So let's activate all these same guys once again. And this time I will move these guys forward to throw the javelins. Should we even move those guys towards this elephant? We could get that guy. That would be really, really cool. So let's do it. We move these guys too. We move these guys. And these guys. There will be a heavy rain of javelins towards that elephant this turn. These guys will not move, they will just fire, so they will gain 2 dice each. But let's start on this flank this time. And we start from here. So let's put in some fire on that elephant. It's 1 die. And that's a hit. Let's see if we can get that now. That was the first one. Let's take the second one in line. And that's the second hit. So we got the elephant by some heavy javelin throwing. And by that we see the Macedonians... oops, I lost a card here. Like that. We see the Macedonians gaining their first banner. It was this unit. And the next one will... Let's put it on... All these guys we can reach are supported, so it doesn't really matter. So let's put it on that chariot. Let's see if we can roll another red. No, we did not. But pretty good result here. A whole elephant unit went down there. And on this flank we're gonna continue to try to get rid of these chariots. So it's first bowfire, we need a red one, right? We got the flag, and he could actually opt to take it. I think he's gonna do that. I'm gonna check how many hexes they need to retreat. It's 2 hexes, that's safe. So I think this was a good result for the Indians. They will now take that flag, so those guys goes 2 back. So what should we concentrate on? Let's see if we can get some good fire on Porus himself then. So it's 2 dice, and the target is an auxiliary unit, and that's a hit. Okay, it looks like the Macedonians will gain much by skirmishing. And we're gonna check King Porus, of course. Oof, that was close. Almost a casualty by that. I don't know, Bactrian or Indian bowfire here. And let's say these guys are Cretans, so they will now fire also 2 dice. We got another green and the flag. Let's see. Let's take the loss first and then check Porus again. He's fine. Now we could take that flag if we want to. But on the other hand, if we do that, we're opening the lane towards the elephants, and I don't like how this looks. We need to do something with Porus. No, I won't take the flag at this moment. That was the end of the Macedonians' turn, or activation. So now let's see. 3 over here. That's a new card, I guess. Okay, now we have a pretty solid infantry line now, so I think I'm gonna do the line command at this point. Because that will be these guys all the way here. We have gotten the elephants out of the way now. Down here, here and here. So we have a big line activation coming in now. So I'll now move up the leader unit here. Those have moved. The other guys will not move at all. Not even King Porus. No, I think we stay here. We cannot battle, but that's okay. We have a lot of fire coming anyway. So these guys will... Should we move them somewhere? No, I don't think so. Let's leave them here. Yeah, let's do that for now. So let's see, I could of course move them all the way over here to give some more support. On the other hand, we are blocking some good retreat paths. No, I'll stay here. So let's see. Now we need to hit back, that's really important. So we start with these bow units, and I will try to get these unsupported flanking light bow cavalry there. Let's see. Complete miss. What a bad luck. Then we have this bow unit. I'm gonna try to force these guys back this time. We missed again. These guys throw the javelins towards the same target. Okay, at least a hit now, and the flag. He needs to take the flag. So he goes back there. But that doesn't save him from this fire, I guess. We are seeing those guys. I think we have a clear line of sight there. So it's 2 more dice against that same unit. No, sorry. These guys need actually to retreat 2 steps. It's light infantry, it's not auxiliaries. So they are going out of the way, out of range actually from these bow units. So we're gonna take the next one. We missed them. Okay, more javelins incoming towards that unit. Oh, good roll, 2 hits. At last something good with the Indians here. So let's put the last one on the same target. Let's roll a double green again, that would be nice. No, we got a flag. So those guys sadly get away, but we don't have any more fire anyway, so at least we're scared of some of the lights here, but here it looks really worrying for us. So that was it, that was a line command. And by that I think I'll end this session here, and well, we are only seeing skirmish fighting so far, and we have only seen one victory banner dealt so far. That was by the loss of a elephant unit for the Indians, and we have seen the Indians pouring back their other elephants. These guys took some heavy skirmish fire, so they were forced to retreat, or actually took a voluntary retreat after a while, because they faced annihilation by just standing here and taking all that fire. And it's a bit weird, because it would be nice to charge, but then they just evade, you know. Over here we have seen some exchange of fire. We lost the elephant unit here as the Indians. On the other hand, we have managed to bite back a bit with our infantry line here, so we have caused some losses on the Macedonian army here. 2 blocks left there, one block or 3 blocks left there, and no other losses on our side here. Of course, this elephant took a hit also previously. So that's it. Let's see how this develops. I think we're going to see some more skirmishing. I mean, this is kind of a winning concept for the Macedonians right now. They have good forces in place here, but they need to break this line to be able to hit these more fragile units again. And Porus, I don't know, we are also having many ranged units that can hit enemies, so I believe we will see some more skirmishing happening here. Okay, thank you for watching, and hope you will be back for part 2. Bye for now.